Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And believe it or not, it's 2024, it's January. And in Answers for Elders, this is a really good time, the first part of the year, to start getting back to basics. What are the things we need to take care of through our lives? And of course, the month of January, a big piece of this is where are we financially? There's a lot of things we need to do. We've just been probably through your annual enrollment period with Medicare. You're dealing with a lot of different things. And so I'm very, very honored to have David Phillips back where he was with us before from estate planning specialist in Arizona. David, welcome back to Answers for Elders.
Thank you for having me again, Suzanne. Appreciate it.
You know, David, thank you, because one of the things, I was reading an article not too long ago, and I felt it was just so profoundly important that I had to come to you and I said, David, I really think this is an important statistic and issue that we need to share with our audience. A lot of our listeners out there are baby boomers. We primarily reach an over 50 demographic. And so we're all in this population together of looking about, how are we going to live out the rest of our lives? And one of the things that blew me away is there's this new trend starting in 2024 that they're projecting that 54% of baby boomers across the USA are going to be downsizing. They're going to be simplifying their lives. They're going to travel. They're doing retirement differently. And the other thing that is really amazing, because it's such a, 40 million baby boomers in the United States, by the year 2030, they are going to make up close to, 35 to 40% of our US population. Right. So we're going to be dealing with this whole paradigm shift in this country, starting really this year, David. And I'm sure you're dealing with it. And I first wanted to talk to you because these are just amazing statistics of what's happening with how baby boomers are retiring, what's going on. So how are you accommodating this wave, David?
Well, first of all, we have a firm called Estate Planning Specialists, and in that firm, we have a financial planning and a retirement planning division that's headed by my son, Todd. So Todd Phillips. And it basically encompasses the estate planning and financial planning at that particular juncture, at that time of your life. Basically wraps everything together. And it says, okay, if I live this long, this is what's going to happen. If I don't, this is what's going to happen. So you prepare for the possibilities, and the biggest probability, or the biggest problem that the baby boomers are going to face is what's called the longevity issues. Okay. Right. How long are we going to live? The longevity dilemma. And we don't know that. We don't have a crystal ball. So we have to kind of play both sides of the coin. If I don't, this is what happens. If I do, if I live to in my hundreds, this is what's going to happen. Because one of the things we don't want to do is we don't want to leave our family destitute. We don't want to live out our days in a long-term care facility. We don't really want to do that. I mean, we'd rather stay at home if we could. Absolutely. And, if we have a long-term care situation. And we also want to make sure that if we pass early, that our wife or spouse, in my case, my wife, our spouse is taken care of, and our family. And a lot of folks really want to not only leave a legacy, a personal legacy, memories and whatnot, family histories, stories, compilations. A lot of the boomers are kind of getting into that because our lives were, I think, relatively interesting. We want to leave, we want to leave that behind, but we also want to leave a financial legacy. I mean, I do, and I have 12 grandkids, and I want to make sure that they have not not that they're fat. I don't want to make them fat and sassy.
No,
I
but
want to make sure that they're adequately taken care of. That's kind of
right. They have an
my
education.
responsibility.
They have a
That's
foundation
right.
to have a good life going forward. And, this whole world of carrying on the values that you established to your family, I think that's important for a lot of boomers today of, how are it, what kind of mark are we leaving with our family? So absolutely true.
That's correct. You said it earlier, the footprint. What
Yeah.
kind of footprint are we leaving?
Yeah.
And what, and how it's all being laid out. So
Hmm.
with our firm, that's really what we focus on, is to make sure that both ends of this are taken care of.
Right.
That not only you are taken care of, that you have sufficient income to live
Hmm.
on, that you don't run out of money.
Hmm.
And whatever you leave behind
Hmm.
in a logical way. Because
Right.
one thing that the Egyptians were proven when they started doing the discoveries is that you can't take it with you. They were wrong.
Sure.
You cannot take it with you. You've got to leave it behind. And so, as unfortunate as that is, we got to make sure that if we do leave stuff behind, that we don't leave confusion behind. And at a
Absolutely.
time when we want to create love and
Hmm.
harmony with our family, if we don't plan, we leave confusion and we
Sure.
create the worst emotions in the human family.
Yeah.
And so those are the main issues. I mean, longevity risk is the number one risk in retirement. So we got to plan for that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And David, you mentioned the term longevity. I think a lot of us that are boomers, including myself, we tend to not think about, we don't pay attention. We don't want to think about getting old. I know when I started Answers for Elders, when I started the company, I talked to a million investors, right? And they're all going, well, I understand there's a need. I would rather invest in things that are more fun, And so there's this idea, that's a mindset of aging that is a negative thing that could be, so we don't necessarily think about it. It's like this looming thing because we can't stop it, right? We can't stop the aging clock. Yet I think there's a lot of us in our demographic and in, our age group that are kind of in denial about that.
Well, sure. I mean, that, and I see that in my own life. I wonder why I can't play basketball the way I did, 20 years ago. I
Hmm.
think I should be able to, but when I get out there and I start competing again, with the 20-year-olds, I find out that, man, I don't have it anymore. I can still shoot
Sure.
threes, but I never get the ball. So, nobody throws me the ball. So it's,
Right.
I'm getting up there. And so, and things are changing,
Yeah.
my, uh, you can see the knees, the shoulders, I mean, things
The
are starting to
hearing,
wear
the
out.
vision.
Yeah, vision, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course the cognitive too, because sometimes the cognitive goes down. So
It does.
one of the things that we want to make sure that we take care of is the long-term care. And I know
Right.
you are a big believer in that.
Absolutely.
But there are some really good products out there right now.
Absolutely. And
Uh,
you have a newsletter
yes, I
that
do.
I really want to talk about before we sign off this segment. What is the name of your newsletter and how do people get it?
The name of the newsletter is Generational Wealth Strategies, and it's being produced by Salem. And the way they get it is generationalwealthnewsletter.com. That's how you get
Okay.
it. Generational Wealth Strategies, but it's Generational Wealth Newsletter.com.
Newsletter.com.
And they can subscribe to they get a substantial discount if they get it through your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And $77 a year.
That's awesome.
I'm one of the authors, and then Todd talks about the safe money options
Yes.
that are out there today. And then Rick Durfee, who is one of the top estate planning attorneys, talks about trust and
Mm-hmm.
how to incorporate those into your plan.
Wow. Yeah.
And then Melody Gatz talks about, she used to be Durfee, but she's married now. And she is the director of the Legacy Global Foundation, and she talks about
Nice.
incorporating charities and
Perfect.
and paying back, giving back to the community, and making sure that that's part of your footprint too. That's not
Fabulous.
just all about you, it's about others as well. So the four of us do this newsletter once a month. I'm actually in the middle of writing my column this month, and I'm actually this month I'm going to be talking about longevity risks. That's
fabulous.
what I'm going to
So
cover.
David, let's table that till our next segment, and we'll be right back right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.